Hello and welcome, everyone. This is the live training webinar for Fast Effective Copy for June 2012. Tonight's topic we're going to be covering is the secret ingredient of affiliate marketing. David, are you with us?
I am. Hello, everybody.
Hello and welcome. Everybody is streaming in as we speak, so hello to everyone as they walk in the door. We are just getting started here tonight, and of course, your host for this evening. I am Brian McLeod, and we all know Master Jedi David Garfinkel. But we're very pleased and excited this evening to bring to you a special guest, one of our star Fast Effective Copy members, one of your fellow members here, and that is Mr. Jason Parker. Jason, I know you're there, so let's say hello.
Hey, everybody.
You've been a huge supporter of Fast Effective Copy since the very beginning, Jason, and it's long overdue that we've finally gotten a chance to get together for this training. We're really excited to share you because you really are a true super affiliate, and this is one topic that I just think we haven't nearly covered as deeply as we're going to tonight inside the members area. Of all these great trainings that we've done, this is really the first affiliate-oriented training that we've done, especially about that topic, right, Jedi?
It is, and this came from Jason reaching out, which is probably the first important lesson because there are a lot of explicit and hidden lessons in this evening. He reached out and asked me for an idea, which was way beneath the level of him. It was a good suggestion. I said, well, wait a second, man. You're a professional affiliate. Would you be willing to let us pick your brain and riffle through your file cabinets virtually and find out how you do your business? And he really didn't think he had anything to offer. And then he was very modest. You were, Jason, right? I mean, true? And
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden one day he changes his mind and he sends me this outline that would keep us on the phone from now to approximately next Wednesday morning. And I said, this is awesome, but it's more than this is another product for you to create, man. But can we boil this down to just what members need to know, what people would want to know, because affiliate marketing is so important and has changed so much over the last year, the last 3 years, the last 4 years, and you've been there with those changes, and you're doing it, and you're making money, and you're also creating the life that you want to live. I know a lot of people in the internet marketing space get up at 3 in the morning and work till midnight. I don't think, based on one email, that's not your preferred lifestyle, and you don't have to do that.
Well, it's all about making time instead of money for me. I mean, you also have the money, but a lot of people focus on making money and focus on making time.
Well, that's good. I guess we need a word from our sponsor, and then we'll get back to you.
That was accidental. Actually, that was my overweight finger hitting the button accidentally. But let's take that opportunity and get the housekeeping out of the way, folks. This is, of course, our live monthly training. We do this the second Wednesday of every month for our Fast Effective Copy members. And many of you here, of course, are members of the site, and we love you deeply and greatly. But many of you are also guests. We like to invite folks to come in and experience this live training. Of course, it's a much better, more complete experience when you are a member because we give you the downloads and the replays and the slides and everything else. We will tell you about that at the end very briefly. This is a content-only webinar. We're not doing a pitch or anything, but at the end we will tell you about what's involved in becoming a member at the very end of the call. So if you're interested in learning more about that, just hang out till the end of the call and we'll give you 5 or 10 minutes of explanation about what that's about or answer any questions that you have. Additionally, we will be doing a Q&A. This training is not just us talking. It is an interactive environment. We welcome your questions. We can't always take them during the flow of the training, although sometimes we do, so don't be shy. You're welcome to type in your questions into the chat box, into the question section there in your control panel, and our ever-present, vigilant organizing assistant here, Deb Law, is with us, and Deb will forward those to us, and we will try and handle those as you ask them if we can. If not, we'll save them till the end when we get to the Q&A session, and we'll make sure that we handle your questions. And of course, tonight's focus is going to be affiliate marketing. And in this training, David, why don't you tell them what we're going to cover? Is that okay?
Yeah, glad to. So tonight what we're going to cover is the secret ingredient of affiliate marketing as deemed by the affiliate marketer we have, Jason. He's going to tell us. Most people get this wrong, by the way. Jason knows what you really need, and he's going to tell us and give us some examples you can learn from. We're going to talk about what works in affiliate marketing and how it works. And by the way, Dr. Max Vogt, who is I see here on the call, asked if this was going to be right for him since he's not an affiliate marketer, but he's a product creator. Know a lot of the folks on here are Tourism Tim, Jim Van Wyck, Norman Hallett, to name three people I've seen the list, and I know a lot of others of you are. We're going to talk about that too, from the point of view of someone who actually does it, somebody who might pick you or not pick you, and why. So that's part of what works in affiliate marketing, how it works. We'll talk about what are the myths and what are the important myths. Maybe we can't cover all of them in an hour and a half, but the important ones we will. What are the important realities about affiliate marketing? Plus, new slide please. Thank you. A list of valuable resources to use for your own online marketing. Where do you get certain things? Jason will talk about that. And for anything we don't cover, answers to your questions. You can text questions in during the call. Deb will catalog them. We may be able to answer them ongoing, but we won't be able to open up the audio lines for you to ask the questions until the end of the call in order to keep the flow of the webinar going as we're doing.
That's right, and that's a good point, David. And during the Q&A session, you're welcome to jump on the mic and speak to us. Just raise your hand when you get to that point, and we'll be glad to open up the mic and bring you on the call so that you can actually discuss. You don't have to just type. But if you have a quick question as we go through these topics and you just want a little more clarification, you're welcome to type your question into the chat box, and we'll try and get that covered right there. So right here at the top of the call, why don't we spend a little time talking about Jason and his background, and for those of you who don't know Jason, I mean, Jason, it seems to me like you know everybody in the history of internet marketing. You've introduced me to at least a few dozen great people over the years, and you're such a great connector of people, but maybe there's some of our members who are not familiar, so can you tell us a little about your history, how you got started in the business, and kind of, your whole backstory?
Yeah, sure. That's no problem. And I'd be glad to touch on the kind of things you're talking about. First of all, I just want to say thanks for letting me talk amongst my friends here and peers and just serious students of marketing and copywriting. It's really an honor to talk amongst all you because I know you're just like me. You're my people, so this is cool. And I'm going to talk to you as if, we're in a bar having a drink. But basically, I haven't been online that long, really. 2005, I started blogging. I made about $100 that whole year. 2006, I quit after that.
I don't blame you.
Okay, I think we can all understand that
person would.
So I quit for about a year. That was pretty heartbreaking. So I became a landscaper then. I've done a lot of blue-collar kind of jobs. 2007, I moved to South Carolina, became a painter for a boys' home in rural South Carolina. So it was a home for boys, and I'd paint all the facilities. And although I liked the people who worked there and whatnot, I liked, being in that environment, I was making about $9 an hour. I hated my life. And I found Warrior Forum around that time because I decided to spring for a product, and they told me about what Warrior Forum was. And you were talking about Alex Cohen earlier. Well, me and Alex hit it off. We were study buddies from the beginning. He was one of the first people I learned on there that I met on there, and he was giving me all kinds of training information and stuff like that. Like he gave me he mailed me Ad Magic by Brian Keith Voiles, which is just an awesome copywriting program. I remember that was the very first copywriting program I ever studied.
Yeah, big shout out to Alex Cohen he did a great service to the Fast Effective Copy community. Him and Joe Ditzel, another great member, helped us out tremendously once upon a time when GoToWebinar borked up the recording of one of our live monthly trainings, and Alex and Joe both were kind enough to jump in and volunteer to re-encode the video and unborkify it so that everybody could have that training. So appreciate that, guys. I know both of you are on the call tonight.
Yeah, that's awesome. He's a good guy. He's a really good guy. And around that time he gave me that course, around that time I hated my life so much that I just decided I was going to study marketing and copywriting as if I was going to study it in school, like as if I had a, some kind of term paper due the next day. I just wanted to get down to it, and that's been really the secret of my success is seeking information and then just devouring it. But in 2008, I was still doing the same job. But I found this course by Matt Basak, which was this $5,500 seminar for about $1, I think at the time. It was a massive promotion at the time, and it taught me about list building and stuff like that. So the marketing side started coming to me along with the copywriting side, and they just meshed perfectly because you need both. But that's when I started building a list of guitars. So I started in the guitar niche because Brian knows, we both play music and stuff like that. And my first list was about 1,000 subscribers. Started making some money, but the problem was that there weren't enough products really to sell that had high enough commissions, and also the continuity programs out there, they didn't ever offer any recurring commissions to affiliates or anything like that. So I figured out one day that you can make good money in that market, whatnot, but there are easier markets, such as the internet marketing niche, where there's high ticket products where you can get $400, $800 commissions, and there's continuity programs where you can build up thousands of dollars a month in continuity, and there are people who aren't stingy with their commissions, and there's just a multitude of products coming out on the market every day. So I got into the internet marketing niche, and that's when I started making pretty decent money there. In 2009, by some freak accident, I met Matt Basak, the guy who kind of turned it around for me, and I harassed him to the point where he let me work in his office for a while until I went full time from there, and that's pretty much what happened. I never turned back. I mean, in Matt's office, I learned where all the money was going, like how the money was made, and I learned by osmosis. I learned, the philosophies and the philosophies that would work no matter what kind of opportunities are available to you. I learned the kind of, the principles that I can use, and I also learned that, things that you can learn in the '90s from, Jay Abraham will apply always to marketing, no matter what is always happening. No matter what changes happen. The same things you want to learn are those kind of things. So,
yeah, trends and fads come and go, but the foundational aspects of good marketing rarely change, right? I mean, they're applicable always, and a good solid lesson, Jason. It's funny. I tangentially knew you a little bit through maybe forums or whatever, but we didn't really become friends until a couple of years ago, and since that time. We've gone on to become pretty good friends, obviously, and one of the things that I think is so neat about what you do is you're a great connector of people. I don't know if we talked about this at the beginning of the call or it was before the call, but you have introduced me to so many different people. I think that one of the things we're going to need to touch on before we're done tonight is how important the relationship aspect is in affiliate marketing, and how marketers need to be able to connect with the affiliates and make that happen on a personal level. You've introduced me to a ton of great people, and I think, probably you can answer yourself, but wouldn't you say that being able to connect with these people and be friendly with these people has had a big impact on your ability to take your career into super affiliate land?
Well, the number one thing I've ever learned about marketing is it all comes down to salesmanship. So all the networking I do it's rooted in salesmanship. All the advertising I do is rooted in salesmanship. Everything comes back to salesmanship. So, when I'm networking with people, I'm using salesmanship, and that means, the first thing you got to do is be valuable to people. When I was telling you, when you were saying, I introduced you to all kinds of people, that was me being valuable to you. That made you like me, didn't it?
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Okay,
Sure.
so one thing may be that I offer to help you with something. Or I may at any time I may offer to help you with something, or share some kind of insider secret that I've learned for my business. I mean, it makes you like me, and that's kind of the first thing you need to do when you want to make a sale, for example. But in this case, we're talking about joint venture partnerships.
Right. It's about reciprocal value. It's about having a two-way street rather than just a one-sided type of relationship. Hey, what can I get from you?
Exactly.
How can I get something out of you? How can I make money from you? It clearly creates a different level of interaction between you and somebody else. And you also do something interesting that I don't see a lot of other people do, is you'll get these small mastermind groups together. You call them masterminds. They're not really masterminds by my definition, but they're little topical threads where you'll group a bunch of smart people together and just create kind of an email thread, and we'll run that for 2 or 3 weeks or however long that lives on a particular topic, like, solo ads we're going to talk about today. I remember one you did a little while back, incredibly valuable from the perspective of what was working now and who had good lists and who was good and what was good where. You do these from time to time about, different things, paid traffic or whatever, where you'll just simply grab a bunch of people, throw them together and go, hey guys, we're going to do this little list. If you want to jump in, great. If not, that's cool. And those always turn into money for me and for, I think, a lot of people who you include in those things. Smart, simple strategy, right? But very few people ever do it. Kudos.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, that's all part of the salesmanship, I think, of making people like you and, just sharing information. It's just give and take. It's a good balance of give and take. And, you're going to learn things that you don't learn inside training programs when you're talking to somebody who's on the front lines out there marketing.
Absolutely. And one thing I noticed, because Brian and I were talking about this quality of yours, which I certainly admire, and Brian does too, is that there are two kinds of reciprocity. One's sort of the transactional one, where it's I do this for you and you'll do this for me, right? I'll mail for you and you'll mail for me. But I think you see it in a bigger way, don't you, Jason? Where you're just going out there creating value, and it'll come back. Maybe not from that person, maybe from someone else, maybe from something someone says about you to someone else. But you're creating sort of almost like an environment of value around yourself, and it ends up coming back sometimes in ways you might never expect. Has that been your experience?
Well, I mean, the reason why I do it really, it's more in my nature than anything. I kind of stumbled upon it, then later figured out that it was perfect salesmanship. So, I mean, I just kind of it's just something I like to do. I realized that if I was valuable to people, then they would actually like talking to me, and I learned a few things.
Yeah.
And if I was actually valuable to people, they'd be open to maybe promoting a product if I, whenever I occasionally come out with a product or something. Or they'll be at least open to opening my email. They'll be like, oh, here comes Jason asking me for something again. Click, delete.
Right. Well, let's get down to brass tacks, because you said that the real secret of affiliate marketing is something that most people overlook, or they know about, but they don't think it's as important as it is. So, what's the number one secret ingredient of affiliate marketing?
Copywriting and salesmanship.
Copywriting and salesmanship. Okay, not the list, but the ability to sell, and the ability to sell with the written word. That's really important. It may seem obvious to a lot of people. It's probably not to everyone. And you agreed to show us some emails that you've used, and and go through the email, explain why you did it. Because one thing I want to say for everyone listening is, you may have a very different preconception based on what you're doing with your own list or what you see with other lists on what works. Jason knows what works, and it's different. You may not like it. It may shock you. I don't think it is like horribly offensive, but it may not be your taste. See what you can learn from it. See what you think might work. Let Jason explain the psychology of it. This is how he's making his living and helping other people make money. So with that, let's go to the next slide, and you've got TubeRater. And tell us tell us about this one. I think it's really different than the kind of email most folks would send out to their list. Different than what I would send out, what Brian and I send out. Different than what Brian sends out to. From what I've seen, he's written on his own.
Just to interrupt for a quick second, guys. With regard to the layout, the only way we could get the email to fit was to go 2 columns here. Of course, that's not what's unique. Jason did not send a 2-column email. It's just this is how it fits on the thing. So imagine that this is just a single-column email. We wanted to get it all on one slide for you. Just a caveat.
Yeah, and in case someone has a smaller screen or they're watching this on their smartphone, I'll read the email. It's pretty short. If that's okay with you guys. And then, Jason, you can explain it sort of line by line why you did what you did. Subject, TubeRater. Body
well,
copy.
First of all, I mean, you guys need to know that where I get my best email copy is just copying and pasting from the page itself. So I find, I use my training that I might have learned inside Fast Effective Copy to find, something that's emotional inside a piece of copy, and I'll actually just copy and paste that, and I'll use that. as the copy in the email.
That's interesting. So all of this copy comes from something on the website that actually sells TubeRader.
Yep, that's right. And it's not in, it's actually buried in the copy. It's something I was reading, and I said, hey, this is cool. This removes the limitations usually, that you would see in a headline. In a classic headline, I can't think of one at the time, but you might know, David, where maybe one of the weight loss ones where they're saying without plastic surgery, get this result without plastic surgery.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what we're talking about here, because you can get this result without doing the normal things you need to do.
Okay, let me read through the whole thing in case people can't read it. I just never know. It's and then you can talk about it a little more. But that's a really good point. So I would translate that if I'm a product creator, I should realize that the copy on my website might be used for more than people reading the website. An affiliate marketer might say, "Oh, that's a great place for a swipe." Subject: TubeRader. This proven traffic generating system gets you on the first page of Google in hours, into position number 1 in days for almost any keyword you care to target. And then here's all those withouts: without spending money, without backlinking, without bookmarking, without social sites, without writing one stinking article, without ever having to worry about wasting precious time ever again. And then a link. Man, that's bare, bare bones. It doesn't have the person's name in it, doesn't have a signature on it. But you did it this way and it worked. You want to comment at all on your thinking?
Well, I would actually use a name if I captured the name on my actual email on my squeeze page. But I don't capture the names because I get a higher opt-in rate, and I just kind of sacrifice that personalization for a higher opt-in rate on any squeeze page I have. So I only have that email field on squeeze pages.
That's interesting.
And it boosts, the less the fields you have, the higher conversion you're going to have on any kind of form in general.
Okay. Why so short? We always learn that long copy sells. Any thoughts on why you did this? So concise. I mean, I like it. I'm not criticizing.
Right.
I'm just saying this breaks a lot of rules that we usually teach and follow.
I tend to go for the click-through rate, for a higher click-through rate by getting that link out there early and having something short. And I've had shorter emails than this. I've had short as emails as that first sentence would be the whole email, and then it would have a link underneath that.
Yeah.
So yeah. I think it's something I learned from Matt Basak, actually.
Mm-hmm.
His emails are all very short, even shorter than mine. But as far as pulling copy actually off the page, I don't know anyone who's ever talked about that or does that. That's just something I've learned from AdWords advertisers who say to match, the AdWords ad to the actual copy they're about to land on.
Oh, to get their Google quality score up, right? Make sure that it's consistent, or just because they found that works.
I think they've just found that it works just to have the same copy that's on their ad is the same copy that's going to be on the page they see after they click through.
Okay, so one thing I want to say about this copy, critiquing it, is this proven traffic generating system gets you on the first page of Google in hours and into position number 1 in days for almost any keyword you care to target. That's freaking irresistible for anyone who's looking for search engine positioning. So pretty interesting, pretty hot.
I wouldn't have been able to write it myself. I mean, I just pulled it right off the page.
What I find interesting too is it does follow the sort of the approach of the headline with the benefit and then the without, right? The benefit and then the pain point, right? So you've got this is the benefit. You're going to get the proven traffic generating system. It gets you on Google in hours and in position 1, and then you don't have to spend money. You don't have to backlink. You don't have to bookmark. No social sites. So it's like the classic. Here's what this is. Here's what this isn't. Value equation in a very short email, and then boom, straight to the link. I think the important note here for me is that the whole goal is to click through, right? As the affiliate, you have two schools of thought. You have either pre-sell the thing and make a big deal about it and your bonus and all of these things that people do to try and sell as affiliates, or just get them to click through and get them to the sales page. I can imagine that this had a very high click-through rate for people, if only for the curiosity's sake, to satisfy their curiosity. Or, well, what's this all about?
I think it was a curiosity builder because, it removes the normal limitations. I understand the people who buy this kind of stuff, and my list really likes this kind of stuff. I know they like it because they buy it, and that's why I continue to promote it. I promote what people want, and that's not necessarily what I like. I check out the product, make sure it's a good product, but I promote, what they want. That's how you make money as an affiliate.
Well, let's talk about, you said your list. Very often, from what I understand, you don't have a list that you've developed a relationship with for years, and you're trying to do. I remember when I was working with Jim Edwards back in the old days in the 2000 2001, we would like have two uh, value content emails for every pitch email. You're just going right to it. I mean, talk about what list did you use? Is this a list you have, or is it a list you put together? How did you put it? Where did it come from? Where's the list? Where did you get the list? And
This
what?
is it's a list I built. I mean, it's a list I
Okay.
built from a lot of solo ads and stuff like that.
Okay.
Some PPV and whatnot.
And we're going to talk about that as we get a little further in the call. We don't have to get into those specifics quite yet because we do have a section where we're going to cover some of Jason's
Sure.
really off the wall, very different and sort of somewhat radical list building techniques and strategies that he uses. But yeah, go ahead.
Okay. And then, you know, um, so was it like I mean, what was this list interested in? How did you put this list together with your solo ads? What was the main theme of the list to begin with?
Well, this particular list I knew would be interested in something like that tube raider, because it had to do with the product I was giving away. It had to do with the product I was giving away. And the product I was giving away was like 100 free ebooks. Products. It was like rights to 100 free ebooks, and the kind of people who typically enter in their email address or something like that aren't people probably who are into copywriting, for example. They're into more of they're not really at that level yet. You know, they're not high level people, I guess. You know what I mean? I don't really know how to explain it because I mean I do believe there are people who like SEO who are at a high level, but generally I think that like the mass majority of people who like SEO or anything like that are at a lower level than the kind of people that we are on this.
They're still searching for that magic bullet that will finally
Yeah,
deliver
exactly. I don't know
deliver
how to
the
describe it.
yeah. Well, they're looking for an automated system that will take away their difficulty without having to know anything about the topic, right? Like something that will magically transform their inability to get this result. They buy this, and suddenly that problem will be solved.
They
And
want lightning in a bottle.
yeah,
How did you do with
Yeah.
this? What kind of commissions did you get?
It was over a few grand in under a week. I
So,
remember I told you guys the exact number the other day, but I don't
yeah,
remember what I
I
said.
have it in my notes. I'm
37
squinting.
something.
37.53 commissions in less than a week, and for mailing it once.
I mailed it a few times. I mean, I mailed all week because I realized it was doing good. So
no,
whenever
no.
you strike oil,
You
Norman
mailed
says, "You
you
go,
keep on
girl."
just pounding.
Norman Hallett says, "You go, girl."
you mailed the same one 3 or 4 times in the week.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Okay.
it's like running a control ad. It's you run the same control ad, you can get at least half of the results of the first time you ran it.
Uh,
And here we get into one of these topics that a lot of people goes against the grain of the relationship marketing based model for emails that Jason does so effectively. I mean, Jason's goal is to sell product as an affiliate, not necessarily to keep people on his list for years at a time, but rather if they're on the list, they need to buy something. And so
mhm.
if this one worked, I guess I'll send it again. Well, what about the people who saw it before? Aren't they going to be irritated? Well, they've already bought something. They can unsubscribe if they want, but that relationship has been fulfilled in the way that Jason does his things a lot of times. And that again is a very different model from the way a lot of other people do it, where they're trying to build one monster list, one huge list, and keep it forever. Jason builds purpose-based lists very quickly. He's able to rapidly build lists for promotions or different niches and use them for the purpose of selling affiliate products. So I think that's a perfect example where if you mail the same thing a couple of times, most people would be afraid of that, right? They would be afraid to send the same thing more than once for fear of offending the people on the list. Jason, your approach, I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but we've talked a lot about it. Your approach is that they're there to buy something. You want to sell it to them, right?
Well, I mean, we talk about relationships. My relationship with my list is that I try to give them what they want. And the buyers, they're not mad about me showing them what they want. It's kind of you can think about it a couple different ways. I mean, you can think of it as as I just promote stuff all the time. or you can think of it as, I'm really trying to find what these people want and give it to them. Because you were saying something about you're on a wedding list. What you want to buy is, you want these supplies for a wedding or something like that. You're saying you don't want to hear about this person's life all the time.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
Actually, you're ready to buy something.
If you get on a list because you're interested in buying some wedding favors, you're not really all that interested in what the guy's family vacation and they went to, Lake Havasu and here's the photos. You want wedding favors. Send me a coupon for a discount on wedding favors, or make me a good offer for buying wedding favors. Give them what they want. They got on the list because they want to buy wedding favors. Don't get in the way of that sometimes, I guess, is the lesson.
But I mean, people who have a lot of their own products, I don't really suggest doing what I do. You may want to build a deeper relationship with people, but as an affiliate, I just go with my own testing, which means go find what people want, get it and give it to them. That's my thing.
We had a good question that just came in about list turnover. Jason, what kind of turnover you have?
We're going to talk about how you build your list later, but what's your unsubscribe rate? How, what happens when
I don't really pay attention to all the numbers, but I know that typically the lifetime customer value of a customer is 30 to 90 days, which is really short. But, it's just the way I do it. It's kind of like speed marketing, I guess, because I build lists very fast and large, and then I'm aggressive with mailing.
You're not afraid of losing the people. You just know that they're there for 90 days, and then they go. Thanks for the question, Cheryl. Cheryl Kissel asked the question. Well, let's move on to the next one then, huh?
Yeah, let's. This one may be a little tougher to read, guys, because it's a little bit longer. So it may be a little hard to see on screen unless you've got your screen zoomed out. If you've got the screen minimized, you might want to go ahead and take a minute to blow that up to full size so that you can read it. And David, if you'd like to read it, or if you'd like me to read it,
I'll read it. Sure. Subject line: Get paid to share videos, and then in square brackets, rave reviews, real results, and then the body copy. Quote: I made money in the first week just by posting a few video links on my Facebook page. I can honestly say this is the easiest money I've ever made. Chuck Murdoch, another quote: You can create as many of these video pages as you want in less than 30 seconds each and make money from the ads for years. Many people share videos every day anyway. At least now you get paid for it. Vondre Whaley. And then another quote: just one of the videos I posted got 853 views and made money within the first 3 days. I've never seen such a simple way to increase your income. My friends even thanked me for emailing the video link. June Hill. Asterisk: watch this video and discover how to get paid on autopilot by all kinds of big ad networks. Link here. Best, Jason Parker. So again, this turned out, as I remember, pretty well for you, huh?
Yeah, it did well. I just took these testimonials from the page, obviously, and just made an email out of it. And I tested it against other emails. And what's funny is this email would kill it every time I'd send it. And other emails for the product that use different angles and some of the same angles but don't have any of the testimonials would sometimes not even make a single sale. But every time I sent this email, I'd make a sale. I'd make more than one sale, but I'd sell things.
And this is for our mutual pal Ron Douglas's product, right, Jason? What was the product for this one?
Video Forward. It's like a site where for lower level people, I guess you could say, where they can put a video on the site and put ads around it and stuff like that. There's a lot of training on there. But it's like a video site. You have to check it out. It's called videoforward.com. I don't know of any other sites that are like it at all. But it was actually, I was sending traffic to a webinar replay for this. So that's one thing, too, that has worked really well for me, is sending traffic to webinar replays. So they get a lot of good content, and then they might take whatever at the end.
Right. Okay. I find there was, the interesting thing is that this video is just purely testimonials. It's purely social proof. That's all that's there. Just 3 testimonials and a call to action to watch the video and discover how to get paid on autopilot by all kind of big ad networks. Link, and it goes straight to the video replay of the webinar. And of course, then the heavy lifting gets done. But they're going to that webinar replay with a positive expectation because there's been this great testimonial that sent them there, right? That's piqued their interest, that's got them excited, and put them in a, more of a heightened sense of positive expectation. Because instead of just a bunch of claims, this is other people's results. This is results-based copy. I got this result. I got this result. I got this result. Okay, here's how to go get that result.
Yeah, as I look at this, first of all, I do think it's a great email. Secondly, it doesn't look like an email to me. It looks more like an e-zine ad or a small display ad in terms of the way it's written, because you're you're measuring every word and you're trying to get to the link quickly after building up enough proof and on your part and desire on the reader's part. Very interesting. Really well done. Why don't we go to the next slide? And is there you mailed this to your list? Is there anything else you said you did it over 7 months? Did you just rotate it every few weeks, or how'd that go?
Well, one thing I do that's I've never heard anyone talk about is I have control emails. So whenever I call them control emails, but whenever I have a good email that does well on an offer, I'll save that email in a text file called my control emails, and I'll reuse these emails as long as the offer is evergreen and relevant still. I mean, I'll send the same email this month that I send next month. So if you have 10 evergreen emails, some days you could wake up to say, I don't feel like formulating some email. I'll copy and paste this email in and send it. And that's how I do it a lot of times.
Okay.
Classic direct marketing, right? You've got to control.
Interesting you said that, because almost everything I do, I pull from offline. I mean, I understand the online stuff, but almost everything I do, I just try to relate what worked on offline to online. So, I mean, to me,
tell us a little more what you mean about that. What are you referring to?
I'm just thinking about controls. If you send a control ad, you can expect a certain result. You can expect to get a decent result at least, or so. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can make predictable income when you have control emails. That will make a certain amount of money or will convert. So if you send that this month and you send the same control email next month, you can usually expect that email is going to do fairly well at least. And since I build my list at the rate I build it at, it's a lot of new eyeballs seeing that ad too, as well as some old. But I don't really care if the old see it, because they say some people need to see something 9 times before they buy. I don't know if that's true or not, but they only saw it 2 times there.
Yeah. Okay.
And so over the course of 7 months, you sent this out several times, and you did 5 figures with this offer, right? Like over $10,000 in commissions for this control ad of yours. So well done, man. Well done. Very well done.
$10,709 is what you sent us earlier.
Yeah, that's really a neat idea, and I think again these are things that maybe people certainly are familiar with conceptually, but just don't always apply them to their online marketing the same way, right? The idea of a control ad is simple to think about for a direct mail campaign, but people don't always connect those dots between direct mail and email in that same way. But you've done that by finding these evergreen offers. And the question that I had for you about that, Jason, was, do you prefer to promote evergreen type products because of that, or do you also look for launch type things that are new and exciting? What are your feelings on launch stuff versus evergreen?
I always look for evergreen stuff, first of all, because I love to be able to promote it over time. As long as it's still relevant, I can really send a lot of traffic to it, and I can make a predictable amount of income. But what's interesting about launch stuff is a lot of time with launches, I'll let everybody just wither away and die. And what I mean is, I'll let all the affiliates around me just pound this offer, and then I'll wait about 3 months. I'll wait it out, and then I'll promote that, and then I have no competition when I promote it.
Smart.
You are diabolically clever.
Yes, very smart. We have another question from Cheryl. She'd like to know, if you segment your list, do you have buyers or prospects or suspects? Do you have people, maybe I'll add to that, people who are interested in this kind, or is it just one list?
I've been known to segment lists, but I always get to the point where after I've segmented them and they've been on another list for about 30 days or so, I just group them all together in the same list.
Okay.
After a while, I mean, I may promote something else just to that separate list for about 30 days, and then when that list starts to get a little cold, I'll just make it part of everything else when I promote.
Very cool.
Yeah, one more reiteration of Jason's philosophy. Number one, Jason is a rapid list builder. He knows how to put free offers together and use paid traffic to create lists very quickly. And so for him, the idea of fresh new leads is a given almost, right? Like that's not a problem. Where a lot of people have trouble with list building is how to get more leads, how to get more people. Jason sort of figured that part of it out. He doesn't have trouble getting people into a list. So in the absence of that concern, his real concern is, I've only got 30, 60, 90 days to squeeze money out of these leads in my funnel here, or to refine this list down to buyers rather than just people who have opted in for the freebie. So, when he does these offers, when he makes these offers, his primary concern is selling something, as opposed to relationship building and keeping that long-term relationship with the customer. Eventually they stick with Jason because they're getting what they want. They're getting the offers that they want. They're getting access to the products that they like and things. He gives them good stuff, so I'll stick around and keep reading his offers. But really the important thing when there's somebody new in his funnel is that he give them offers that they buy quickly. Right? Am I saying that right? I mean, am I getting you correctly?
Yeah. But I mean, I will add that I try to do everything I can honestly and ethically as possible. So I mean, it may, to one person it may sound like, oh, this guy is doing whatever. But what I'm talking about is, when I get these people on my list, I want to give them what they want. I want to find out what they want and give them what they want. That's just as simple as that.
Yeah, I think it's easy to get caught up in the dogma of relationship building and view anything other than that as somehow bad, or as a pejorative. I don't view it that way myself. I think it's different strokes, different horses for different courses, right? There's nothing inherently wrong with being a strictly promotion-based list. That's what it is. It is what it is. It may not be the approach everybody takes with their model, and certainly there's people I know that are on the call right now who think, oh, I couldn't do that with my list. Well, that's okay. You may not be able to do it with your house list, with your primary list, but you could certainly build a rapid list for this purpose and do that in order to funnel people into your long-term relationship-oriented list as well. So take what you can from this and see how you can apply it to what you're doing. You don't have to pick, one or the other, and it's all black or white. There's a gray area here that I think is the important thing of tonight's training.
Yeah, let's move on, because we're going to talk more about his list later. But I think we could sort of pull back up to 30,000 feet and take a wide view of affiliate marketing, how it used to be, what's changed, what you can do. Maybe of all three of you guys, I was doing it in 2000. Never been much of an implementer, more of a copywriter and a content creator. But when we launched the Killer Copy Tactics with Mark Joyner and Aesop, the old publishing company he had in those days, man, I couldn't believe it. He had like, I don't know, 900 affiliates or something, and then I was doing stuff with Jim Edwards, and in those days it really was the Wild West. There were a lot fewer rules. The FTC hadn't come out with its guidelines on testimonials and endorsements, and you could, I don't even know if spam was illegal at that day, in those days, although I don't think we were doing too much of that. People I was working with, but I know a lot of people were. Some people even proud of how they did it. Things have changed a lot. Jason, I know you've sort of been in this really, 2, 3, 4 years, seriously, affiliate marketing, or how long have you been in? Not like 10 years.
Full-time about 3 years. I mean, full-time 3 years. I would say 2007 is when I started getting serious. So
okay, well, things have changed a lot since 2007. What have you noticed that's changed? What can you do now that you can't? What could you do then that you can't do anymore?
For some reason, it feels like there's more competition. It's just there's more and more competition piling on. Like, it didn't seem like as many people had lists a few years ago than they do now, even.
Yeah.
And it seems like you're fighting over that inbox a little bit. So that's one thing.
Okay. How about in terms of rules and Google and I don't know, ISPs and spam filters? Are there things you've noticed that you no longer can do that you used to be able to do?
I don't know. Well, Google changes like every 3 months.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's always changing for me. But I've never been able to make consistent income with Google because of the changes.
What about ClickBank? Is it more difficult to be a ClickBank affiliate than it was? Or do you ever go to ClickBank offers, or is that not really part of your?
I used to a little bit, and I didn't like what was happening over there, so I stopped going. I stopped using ClickBank for a long time. But I did promote something recently that had nothing to do with the top 10 ClickBank products or anything like that. But they cleaned up their act anyway. So,
yeah.
But I don't know. I can't really pinpoint anything. The biggest thing is just that's on my mind is competition
Sure.
with inboxes, and just because I could send an email 3 years ago and send twice as many people to something that I can now.
hmm is there a day of the week or time of day that seems to work better, or does that have nothing to do with it?
I wouldn't say it has anything to do with it. I actually email at different times often, so I don't email at the same time every day. And sometimes I'll mail at 9 p.m., sometimes 9 a.m., sometimes noon. Just try to vary it.
I've had surprisingly good results with really late night emails. It's I don't know if it's just the time difference and we're hitting the UK when they're getting up for tea or something, but even 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, I've been known to send out emails from time to time that do really well. And so I think there's a lot of stock put into time of day that's kind of folly. I think the most important thing is to get it written, get it out, and hit the button as much as anything else. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just all over the place, really. And the email marketing, I can't really pinpoint any specific time of day or anything that's worked well for me. But I've had night emails that have crushed it too. So
I'm wondering, Jay, if you could talk a little bit about, you're a product creator too. You create products and you sell your own products, so not as often as others. I'm just wondering if you could speak a little bit about your viewpoint on the benefit of being an affiliate, and certainly in your case, a super affiliate versus, being a product creator and trying to sell your own products. What's drawn you towards the affiliate side of thing more than the other? And then the second half of that is, as an affiliate, we alluded to this earlier in the call. I want to make sure we don't forget. What do you look for in an offer that attracts you as an affiliate and makes you want to promote a product? What is it that says, yeah, this is one I want?
well, there's really no point in being an affiliate if all you're trying to get is money. But if you're trying to build like a lifestyle where you free up your time, that's what affiliate marketing is all about to me. But everything I do is not necessarily the most profitable way to do things, but I do things in a way that you could really do things an hour or 2 hours a day if you really wanted to. But whenever I put out a product, that's when I bust my tail and I'll be working. If I put out a product, which I do, once every 4 months or so, I'll put out a little product and not even have a big launch or anything because I don't want to do all the work. I mean, I like to study. I love to read and things like that. I like to free up my time for other things to learn, but I don't necessarily enjoy working from sun up to sundown. So that's one reason why I like affiliate marketing. And I know these people who launch products, they say in their sales material and whatnot how they don't, they have this lazy lifestyle, and I know they don't because they're doing a product launch right now.
Yeah, anybody who's ever launched a product can tell you it's not laying around on the beach counting your money. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
It's
So,
like 14-hour a day work.
yeah, we had an interesting comment that just came in referencing back to what we just talked about, time of day. I missed the name, but one of the comments was that 7 p.m. seems to work really well for the men's dating niche for some reason for this individual. And David, could you maybe take a peek at who that was? I missed it.
Yeah, it's Jonathan Hudson.
Thank you,
Hi,
Jonathan.
Hi, Christian. How are you?
Thanks for chiming in. Appreciate that. So, and 7 o'clock is an interesting number that I found that seems to be almost a control number for a lot of people. Everybody seems to like 7 o'clock and like 10 or 11 a.m. Those are the two times when the clumps of emails tend to want to fight for your attention, right? So there's something to be said for it working, and there's something to be said for being lumped into the middle of it all, the maelstrom.
There's a question for Jason, which sort of refers back to what we were talking about earlier. You said that you know what your people want, and Cheryl was wondering, if you don't survey them, how do you know what they want?
I just know based on what people buy. I mean, not everything I promote converts. I mean, conversion is a very sensitive thing, especially when you're dealing with the kind of ways I build lists and they're not just all buyers. I mean, conversion is a sensitive thing, but people buy what they want. So, say I promote a couple things they don't do well, that will give me an indication. I mean, people vote with their credit cards, in other words. I mean, surveying to me doesn't really tell you what people will actually spend money on. It may tell you what they like, but not to a degree of where they would actually spend the amount of money you're asking for.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really valid point too, Jason. I've often felt the same way. Surveys are great information gatherers, but there's no greater valid test data than a promotion that worked or one that flopped. And I find a lot of times people can become so paralyzed by being afraid to send the wrong thing or the wrong offer that they'll get caught up in the paralysis of analysis rather than just make the offers and go. And I think one of the things that's so cool about what you do is you just you throw it against the wall and you see what sticks, and then you learn from that and use that to adjust and make decisions later, right? There's no better way to know than to make the offer, hit the button, and see what you get.
Well, I'll do something will do well, and I'll say, well, this market at this particular time wants something like this. I mean, markets are always changing; their desires are always changing. But say, I strike gold with some kind of offer, and I know I have maybe a window of a month to promote those type of offers, probably, because markets are always changing. Like, based on news. For example, like I was talking about TubeRadar. When TubeRadar came out, that was one of the first YouTube type ranking products that helped you rank on Google and stuff like that. But now there have been all these variations coming out, and now it's kind of watered down to the point where that angle wouldn't even work that well now.
Right, because the market has changed so much that the whole benefit of the product has changed. The sand has shifted.
They've already heard it. Yeah, they've already heard it all.
Yeah.
They need a new mechanism, right, David?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, so you have to develop a sensitivity and an awareness to what's going on around you. I mean, you've talked this evening already more about competition than most internet marketers I've ever heard talk about. You're very aware of it, and you understand how it factors in, whether it's competition of other products, competition for eyeballs in the inbox. You're talking like a lot of. I know you're a young guy, but you're talking like a lot of the old-time direct marketers and direct mail guys that I know, which is great. I mean, which proves to me, or proves to all of us, one thing that we say a lot, but we don't always live by, that, there are certain basic principles that never change, and it's just the conditions change, the vehicles by which you deliver those principles change. Like, you might be using mail one day and email another day. So anyway, great points.
Yeah, but real quick, Dr. Max just came back and slapped me upside the head to remember again. What makes a product attractive to you as an affiliate, Jay, as a super affiliate who people want? They want that Jason Parker traffic. They want some of that JP magic. What is it that makes you go, ooh, this is good? Yes. Or what do you like to see? What should a product creator, and many of our members, as you know, are product creators. So what should they be aware of and thinking about in order to attract someone like you to send traffic and do your thing?
I'd say most affiliates only care about one thing, which is EPC, earnings per click. I mean, I care about whether the thing is lying or not. That's my number one. I'll tell you what I think, and you won't be able to really attract people like me. I mean, there aren't very many people like me that do things exactly the way I do. It's kind of weird because most affiliates that are good in crashing leaderboards and whatnot are just other product creators. I mean, that's how they're getting their traffic and whatnot, but there are not many people who do the kind of things I do, so I don't know how helpful I will be with this, but I will tell you, as far as other affiliates, all they care about is EPC. That's all they care about.
Earnings per click.
Right, that's earnings per click.
The percentage of the conversion times the price of the product, times their cut of the price of the product. How much money they make for every click they generate to the page.
And so
what the hell? What do you look for, Jason? Even though you're unique, even though maybe no one on this call is going to want you to promote for them, which I doubt. What do you look for? I mean, how do when someone approaches you, or when you hear about something, you must have some kind of mental checklist or just spidey sense or something that tells you this would be good, this wouldn't be good.
I mean, it has a lot to do with what I've learned in fast, effective copy and other programs and stuff. First of all, I mean, if someone came to me and emailed me, I would want them to attach some screenshots of some data to prove that this offer actually converts, first and foremost. And I'd want to see the page after that. I'd want to see whether I could tell if a page is actually converting or not. I mean, whether those are botched numbers or not. But there's basically like 11 elements I probably look for. I don't know if you want me to go through all of them.
Yeah, I think everyone would love that.
Well, the very first thing I look for is massive proof and facts about the wanted result that's described in the headline, but right below the headline.
Hmm.
So all the proof you can get there, like case studies, testimonials, screenshots, anything you could put beneath the headline right there. I know that a lot of those kind of sales pages convert really well.
Good. Okay.
So,
Next.
and getting people to believe you is a huge thing today.
Sure.
And one reason why that's the number one thing is because of the way I email market. And because I'm not really pre-selling in a way that builds any kind of trust or anything
Yep.
in the pre-sale. I'm just getting the clicks. So when they land on the page, they have to see all this proof and whatnot so they can get the believability factor going.
Really good point, JP. Really good point.
Number two, I'm reading a little list here that I made. It'll help me actually tell you.
Okay.
Getting the result they want fast while they hardly lift a finger. I mean, as long as it's not a lie, I look for things that, just the lazy man's way to riches kind of thing.
Hmm.
Anything that makes their life easier. Element number three is a new and cutting-edge tactic or twist to make them an insider. So something new, a new way to do something, but get the result they always wanted from that all these other products are claiming. I mean, just a new way to get that result.
Sure. Okay. That's great.
Whether it's a piece of software or a training program or anything. The fourth thing is a look and feel in the design that enhances the emotions of the words. So the look and feel of the design has to be, it has to be very simplistic with the copy, and it has to be readable. And any part of the design can't draw attention to itself. It has to enhance the emotions of the copy itself. So if you say this will crack open the internet like a vault, and if there's a picture of a vault there that's being cracked open, I would say that's good design because that's associating, it's making it more powerful. It's making that copy more powerful. But if you have some kind of useless header graphic at the top of a page, that's an immediate no.
Okay. Really good. Keep going.
You're speaking my language, Broham.
Yeah, mine too.
Cool. I was hoping that would resonate with old Brian here. Element number 5, empathy and understanding of the prospect's pain and passions. So I know if we have this sales page that has proof elements and whatnot we're talking about before, and then below that they get into the prospect's pain and their dreams and what kind of frustrations they have, and they're trying to relate to them. Maybe they're using the common enemy kind of tactic, using anger, any of the deadly sins. That will actually, anything that sparks any kind of emotion like that, I look for that in a piece of copy before I promote it.
Very good. Very good.
Number 6, there's little learning involved for them. So I found that this is just a hunch. I don't know if this is true or not because I find it in myself when I'm looking at something. And I know we're not really like our prospects at all times, but I find this with everything I look at. The cost of the product isn't an issue a lot of the time. What the issue is whether this is going to be too complex for me or it's going to take up too much of my time. So I look for that kind of thing in copy.
Stop. Say that again and explain it. I heard you, but
Okay.
that is. I want to start cursing. I'm not going to. That is so important and profound. And I'm not sure, especially since a lot of product creators are teachers. And as teachers, sometimes we're more interested in giving the information than making it easy for people to learn. Say that again and explain it, please.
Well, okay, you can build the value all you want in a product, like on a page. The cost isn't an issue for the person looking at the page, right? You may think that the cost is the issue for the person looking at the page, but it's not. The issue they're having in their mind is that there's too much learning involved, or it's going to waste their time, right? Or they believe they can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I look for these kind of things in copy. That because of myself, because of looking at sales pages and saying, wow, this is not much money, or hey, I would pay that kind of money for this if I could actually do it, or if I didn't have to waste 8 hours doing it.
Yes.
I don't know how to. It's hard to want to describe because I don't remember ever learning that anywhere.
No, this is really good stuff, man.
Yeah,
this is worth the price of admission times 100.
That's very powerful. And I don't want to stop the flow except to say that that's such a important message for our members who are product creators as they're crafting their copy, and they're all often very concerned about price, and the first urge is to discount, or the people aren't going to want to pay it, and you just tapped into a very important vein right there, right? It's not the money necessarily, because the price differential, say it's a couple $100 difference. That seems like a radical swing in price. Really, it's the difference between doing it or not doing it is about whether they actually believe that they're going to get the result, that they can do it. They can swing the extra couple $100 if they really believe that they're going to be able to get the result and that this is going to work for them. So it's not so much about the price as it is the believability that this is right. This is the right decision to make.
Let me try and frame it another way, and then we do want to hear the rest of your list, but this is such a brilliant point and so important. Maybe if we see price in a bigger context, like there's the dollar price, but then there are all of these subjective or emotional prices too, like frustration, like effort, like time, like the possibility of disappointment, like the embarrassment of not being able to do something. Those are huge prices that people want to avoid because their daily life is just filled with them.
That's awesome.
Okay, please go ahead. This is golden stuff, man. Keep going.
Cool. Okay, number 7 is emotional writing that's casual and is instantly hard-hitting, and there's no critical thinking involved. So what we're talking about is the style, basically. We're talking about simplistic language of like an 8th grader. An 8th grader should be able to read the copy that I'm actually considering promoting. Short sentences, short words. You want language that is emotional in general. So when you read it, you want to feel something. I mean, how do you explain that? I mean, is it heartfelt? Is it exciting? Is it boring? I mean, if it's boring, just get the hell out of there. Just leave the page. Because I don't think any part of the copy should be boring. I think what I'm trying to get at here is that there's emotional parts of a lot of sales pages, and then it drops off at different parts. But even like the proof should be emotional. Even the proof elements should be emotional in a way, or they don't have any impact, I guess. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
You have
live
studied
in the
well.
Streets of marketing. Gary Albert would have loved you.
Yeah,
or would love you if
you have studied well. You have studied well, indeed.
Yeah, keep
well,
going.
I've studied under the Jedi.
Thank you. Keep going, man. This is great.
All right, number 8, metaphoric, associative, and nostalgic language. So I like metaphors.
Those are $20 words. Say them again. Metaphoric, associative, and nostalgic language. What does that mean?
Metaphoric language, I'm not any kind of copywriting teacher here, but basically any kind of metaphor that's a blatant metaphor, this does something like this, is good because it instantly hits your mind and it bypasses critical filters. It's it can be emotional and is more believable, I think. And also just I think of the way what's his face? Gary Bensavinger writes as being very, very metaphoric basically in every paragraph. And it's not blatant metaphor, but it's comparing things to other things at all times, basically.
Okay. Always striking to make new ideas more familiar by comparing them to familiar ideas that people already know.
So the way of writing in general is metaphoric and associative.
And what about nostalgic?
Well, nostalgic is just something powerful that you don't see much. I mean, I just try to look for it here and there. If anything, it reminds you of the good old days. You might get those feelings back of the good old days, for example. That's good.
He says he's not much of a
copywriter.
Advertising. He says he's not much of a copywriter,
I can spot copy.
Do you hear this?
I can spot it.
Yeah. I think we've got a case of self-suffocation by modesty, but hopefully you'll be breathing and keep talking. Go ahead, man. This is wonderful.
Well, just think about like the Marlboro Man in the cigarette advertising. How a cigarette. It sucks. It's unhealthy. Who would want to smoke a cigarette unless you associate that with this manly Marlboro Man? So that's an example of an association in advertising.
Yes.
If you can associate your product with something that's appealing to them, then it can take on those associations.
Brian, I just got an idea. The most manly men and the most feminine women use fast, effective copy. You like it?
Just like the
Or
good old
picture
days.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's.
There you go. Yeah. What's number? Are we in 9 now? 10?
Number 9. All right, a massive pre-release discount or a product that has a 2 for the price of 1 discount.
Okay.
So I've just in general realized that pre-release discounts really sell well for some reason, and 2 for the price of 1 discounts really sell well for me. So that's just one thing I look out for. And you don't really see the 2 for 1 very much in internet marketing. I wish I saw more.
You see it every night on direct response television.
That's right. You do.
Well, we should adopt things instead of copying each other.
Yes.
Uh,
10?
Number 10 is a special deal that's exclusive only to the prospects on that page. So I can go to someone who I've done well with before on one of their offers, and I could say, will you make me a special page for my subscribers only that gives them a discount only, and at the top it'll say for Jason Parker subscribers only.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of thing I'm talking about.
Okay. Because they know you'll get a lot of qualified traffic there. And number 11 or 10?
This is the last one.
Yeah.
The last one is just scarcity. I mean, limited amount of spots available, and especially powerful when a prospect must pre-qualify for one or have that sense of pre-qualification for one of the limited spots available.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Could you do everyone a favor? We got a request from Tourism Tim who missed one of them, but I'm sure not everyone knew that they should take notes on this stuff. Read each one, take a deep breath, and read the next one, because this list, I know it's not going to be published, but if you could just say each one again so that people can catch what they missed. And everybody, this is your chance,
Okay.
so get out your pens. Please, go ahead.
Okay, number 1, massive proof and facts about the wanted result right below the headline.
Okay, take a deep breath. Thank you. Number 2.
Getting the result they want fast while they hardly lift a finger.
Okay, breathe. Okay,
And that's
great.
not a lie.
Is this a Lamaze? Is this a Lamaze class?
Yes, we're giving birth to the list. Number 3. I want to give people
a new and cutting edge tactic or twist to make them an insider.
the most manly pregnant men use fast. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step in your line. Say it again. I'm sorry. 3.
It's a new and cutting edge tactic or twist to make them an insider.
Okay, hold on. Number 4.
A look and feel in the design that enhances the emotions of the words.
Yeah, that was the one that Brian liked. A look and feel and design that enhances the emotion of the words. Great. Number 5.
And I love the monthly training about design, by the way.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeehaw. I like all of these, by the way, just for the record. I think this is a great list. We're going to put this in the members area for sure. We'll get these transcribed
Cool.
up.
Okay. Ready for the next one?
Number 5. Numero 5.
Empathy and understanding of the prospect's pain and passion.
Great. Number 6.
There's little learning involved for them.
Excellent. Number 7.
Emotional writing that's casual and instantly hard-hitting without critical thinking.
Great. Number 8.
Metaphoric, associative, and nostalgic language.
I feel like we're doing a countdown on David Letterman backwards, but there's an extra. Okay. Number 8. Okay. Number 9.
A massive pre-release discount on a product or a 2 for the price of 1 discount.
Cool. Was that number 8 or number 9?
That's number 9.
Okay. Number 10.
A special deal that's exclusive only to the prospects on that page.
Yeah, meaning your prospects.
That's right.
Yeah. And finally, number 11, the 11th quality that Jason Parker looks for before deciding whether or not to be an affiliate is
a limited amount of spots available, and it's even more powerful if a prospect must pre-qualify for one.
cool.
Scarcity, urgency, and pre-qualification.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. Man, that is more than anyone expected, and you know Brian and I have pretty high expectations, and we have some very demanding people on this webinar, but that was awesome. That's even beyond.
Awesome. I hope everybody likes it. I just want people to walk away with at least one thing that they like from this. So.
Oh, they will.
They're walking away with more than one.
Love to get comments. Cheryl, I know you have a couple questions, and I want to have them answered, but let's answer them in a couple of slides after we get through Jason's list building, if that's okay. And
Alan Anderson says, JP is on fire.
JP is on fire. Let's go to, instead of his own subscriber list, Jason, well, talk about your list philosophy again. Where do you get those leads? How do you get them? And what device, as much as you're willing to share, do you use to get them? And what do your squeeze pages say? And how do you do all these things? I mean, there's on the screen, but why don't you tell us in your own words?
For about a year, I've been big on buying solo ads from other list owners, and the reason why I want people who are already on lists is because it's like when you're looking for a direct mail list, as I've heard. I've never actually rented one, but they say they want people who have bought through direct mail before, right?
Yes.
So I want people who have been on lists before, who are used to this kind of marketing. So I typically try to go for people who are already on lists, which means buying solo advertisements, and that's the main focus. But there are a couple more things I do. One thing that you have on here, bartering for leads, is a really powerful thing that was real innovating for me at the time, and no one taught me how to do this, and I've never heard of anyone talk about it before. And it's perfect for anybody on here right now who studies copy. And basically, let me tell you what that is, because that's the way I built the most profitable lists I've ever built. It is more work than the other. I mean, solo ads, you could sit there and you can buy solo ads all day. It's not much work, but bartering for leads requires making a certain deal with someone who launches products. So if you go to someone who does a lot of product launches, you could say to them, I want these leads from your product launch. I mean, in exchange for those, I will give you the copy for your next product launch. I mean, for example, and this would work perfect for people on this call. So you'd say, I will handle all the copy. You don't have to pay $40,000 and 10% royalties. I'll actually just handle all the copy for you in exchange for leads. So just the leads, you don't want any money.
There goes my next Bentley. What are you doing to me, man? No, just kidding.
But, you can get the leads from the download page. You can do a deal where you can put your own bonus on their download page and this is some kind of opt-in form, or you can have them mail their list after the launch that they do, and send thousands of buyers onto your list. So the first time I did this, it's kind of funny. The first time I did this, I went to a major marketer who I had been networking with for a long time, and kind of built up trust with, and he liked me, like I was talking about before with the stuff with Brian, about how I network and whatnot, and make people like me. They're more open to these kind of deals because they trust you and they like you. So once you've done that, you can do these kind of deals. But I went to this guy and made this deal, the same deal I just described, and what I did was I went to find a up-and-coming copywriter who charged about $3,000. So I paid around $3,000 for a sales page from him. And he's kind of does what this was kind of copywriter was. I mean, he was over the line like about by 4 steps, right? So those are the kind of copywriters I would like to hire if I were going to, and this is what I did this time, because it's easy to scale back the copy, and it's easier to do that than actually add emotion to a copy.
Like instead of saying you'll make money with this, he said this will give you the keys to Fort Knox, and you will own the entire gold reserve of the United States, right? Something like
right. It's like I kind of like that key to Fort Knox part, but I'm not going to use the other part.
Yeah.
That might be something, because that would be nice, like a little association.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like that John Carlton training. I think it was a fast, effective copy training. How he was talking about how he goes over the line, and then he pulls back.
Yes.
Yep.
So it's similar to that. So that's I guess my tip there.
It's
If you were to do
exactly
this.
that. It's not similar. It is that. It's taking it
Okay.
3 or 4 steps over the line and then walk it back. But they don't walk it back. They just leave it at 3 or 4 steps over the line. So you walk, you walk it back.
Right? But you've gotten a
I walk
$40,000. You end up with a $40,000 letter that costs you $3,000, and what do they call it? The arbitrage or whatever is you're getting $37,000 worth of leads, and I'm just pull numbers out of thin air. But that's the idea,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's definitely the idea because I mean it's an irresistible offer to any person first of all that you make. So if you make this offer for someone who's creating products and launching products, they have so many things they have to spend money on. They don't want to spend money on this. It's irresistible. All you want is leads for this, and then if you go through $3,000 on another copywriter who's upcoming who maybe takes things a little too far, you can scale that thing back and deliver a really good sales pitch to this person. The first time I did that, I mean I just generated thousands of buyer leads and thousands of buyer leads on a list is just worth tens of thousands of dollars. So it's a good deal to make. I mean, anybody on here who's a serious student of copywriting, I think, can do it as long as you have networking skills that me and Brian were talking about at the beginning.
Yes.
You can do this kind of deal.
That's a really good tip. That's a really good tip.
I've never heard of stuff like this. This is brilliant. I've never heard of stuff like
It's stuff I come up with. I mean, it's like I said, I take a lot from offline. All right, this is the thing. I always keep in mind to be open to innovations. I mean, in my business, because I think about the end result I want, and I'm thinking, how can I be innovative and combine different things and get these, how can I get these buyer leads? I was thinking when I came up with this idea, how can I get buyer leads from a launch without actually doing a launch? And I was just thinking, well, this is where I would want my link to be on the download page, and getting those leads. How can I get my link on that download page? And then I just came up with the idea of, what would this person want? What does this person want? What does this product creator want the most? He doesn't want to spend $40,000 at 10% royalties. I can promise you that.
Yeah, and this is a tactic, Jason. That's is gaining more traction. People are getting hipper to this idea and are a lot more open to the idea of reciprocal swaps, where you put an offer on their thank you page and they put a offer on your thank you page, and you agree to basically drive buyer leads to each other's list. That's something that you can make that deal pretty easily, even if you're not like ready to commit to doing that kind of barter deal. You can still exchange reciprocal value that way. Like, I'll give you my product that sells for $197. You can give that away as a bonus on your thank you page. Just put my opt-in form there, and you give away. You put mine there, and I put yours there, and there's a reciprocal exchange of value for both people. It makes their offer stronger because they get this great bonus. You get the buyer's leads, and vice versa. And so it can be with no cost really, no hard cost. You're still getting those buyer leads, and the important thing is those are buyers, not just opt-in subscribers getting a freebie, but people who've just bought a product. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and those leads are 100 times better than solo ad leads, for example. So I haven't actually done this in a while, the bartering for leads, because I've been into the solo ads and I've been lazy. All right, because this does take more work to generate leads. It's not like doing anything like that. But you can do any kind of service if you think about it, if it's valuable in their eyes. I mean, you could be someone who gets the JV partners together and recruits affiliates. And I've done that before too on this kind of deal. With my networking skills, I've done that and actually broke a record on ClickBank doing that.
Huh. That's
cool.
awesome.
But there was 2 of us recruiting affiliates. So
I love your creativity. Let's move on to the next page, because you've given us way more than most people can handle on this. That's awesome. Okay.
Well, if they just take one thing, I mean, that's
sure.
just one thing that makes you profit. That's good.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier that you buy solo ads, Jason. I know that in particular this first soloaddirectory.com is one where you actually do some business regularly. These other sources that you've given us here in this list are other sources that are also for people to check out. But you personally use Solo Ad Directory, correct?
Yeah, and the other ones are recommendations from other people and ones I've seen other people run in different markets. Like Archamax is a general consumer list. Self Growth is like self improvement. Newsmax is kind of an older demographic who is more wealthy, an old wealthy demographic who might like something on wealth building, something like that.
Financial, right?
Yeah, financial and whatnot. Directory of e-zines is like a hodgepodge, but Solo Ad Directory is strictly pretty much internet marketing lists, people who like internet marketing. So, and it can be like mining. It can be like panning gold with some of these solo ads you buy from these kind of people. So there is one general rule that I use when I am shopping for solo ads, and that is I have to know this person regularly puts out products because that means they have buyers on their list, and I have to know that that person is going to send to their buyers list as well as their freebie list. So I mean, I will actually scout them out.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the downsides for a second, because some of our listeners may not be familiar with solo ads. First of all, let's say define what is a solo ad. A solo ad simply is it's like a classified ad, more or less. It's a single ad that's essentially like you would send an email to your list. They send that email out to their list in a single instance. So you've purchased one mailing of your ad, in this case your email, out to that list. And so that's what's known as a solo ad. And some of the caveats of that, like Jason just mentioned, there's some tricks that happen out there. You have to be careful because you can waste money pretty quickly. You can burn $300 to $500 on nothing very easily if you pick the wrong solo ad vendor, right? Can you talk a little bit about some of the downsides?
Well, yeah, I mean, you know what I do, actually? First of all, this is what I'll tell you. I mean, there are a lot of downsides. Like, you could just get a crappy list, and a crappy drop, crappy email drop. Mm-hmm. But what I do is I go actually Google people, find their subscriber lists, and I jump on their subscriber lists, and I try to find if they're actually launching products often. And if they are, I know they have buyers on their list, especially if they just launched a product. I want those fresh buyers, too. So I kind of go after that, and that increases my chances of being able to pan the gold out. And I buy from a lot of the same people over and over. When I have a good one, I buy a lot of them. And also, I mean, I'll buy on a PPC basis too. I'll set up a deal where they'll integrate my link somewhere, and I'll just pay for traffic on a PPC basis to them, a pay-per-click basis, and I'll pay them out every Friday if stuff is going well. But the way you don't lose your shirt is by using pretty much what Ted Nicholas did with space advertising, and that is, you would test small, and then if you had good results, you just roll out a little bigger. You keep on rolling out bigger and bigger if you're having good results, people. So that's how it works, pretty much.
Yeah, good point. And of course, the nice thing about that is it becomes sort of a self-funded thing. You might put a little money in initially to do the first buy, but you can roll back your profits back in and just keep scaling it once you know it's working. But solo ads, it's a fast track method, and it's something that a lot of people maybe have heard of, but have never really taken that step. They'll spend the money in other ways, but it's sort of like the same thing with pay-per-click advertising. Is often more of a mindset issue than anything else for people. They're spending that money in 100 different ways, but the idea of paying per click just frightens the heck out of people sometimes. The idea of paying for traffic just scares people to death for some reason. So it's kind of like a more of a mindset issue than anything else. And as long as you're starting off small, you really don't have that much exposure and risk. And especially if you're dealing with qualified vendors and people that aren't going to send just garbage traffic.
We've got a special treat. You want to? I mean, we're coming on 6:30. You want to, or 9:30? You want to? Jason's going to do a live demo of how he actually creates an email right at his own computer. So you want to move to the next slide?
Yeah, sure. Just one quick question. Can we define small? 1,000 clicks? What is small, generally speaking? 500 clicks, okay. 300 clicks, 1,000. What do you consider small?
Well, if you spend $100, you should be able to get 100 leads for that. So if you get 100 leads and your sales funnel right after they opt in, if you can make $100 back or close to that, then you're on the right track. That's a pretty good indication. I mean, that you can profit with that. So buy a little $100 solo ad, see how it goes, or just risk money that you can afford to risk. That doesn't feel like a risk or anything.
So you're
You know, so, I
looking
mean,
at ROI rather than arbitrary numbers.
yeah, I mean, not every solo ad is going to do well too, even from the same vendor. I mean, because people come in and out of lists, different amounts of people through different ways. So, you need to test your sales funnel up and make sure that your sales funnel is at least coming close to breaking even. If you can come close to breaking even right when that person opts in and sees your front end product and then an upsell, then you can probably make a profit on the back end with your follow up emails. So
Okay, let's put
that's how I look
Jason
at
to
it.
work. Let's
Yeah, what we're going to do now is, earlier Jason talked about how he generally puts these offers together is by going and mining for gold on the sales letter of the offer that he's going to send traffic to. And so he suggested maybe what we should do is just go to the fast, effective copy sales letter and show it at work. Jason, you ready for me to toss it over to you? I'll throw you the keyboard and mouse if you're ready to
Yeah, sure.
ready to do it. Let me throw it to Jason, and we should be. Oops, I'm sorry, I screwed that up. I got to change presenter to JP. My bad. My
You're
bad.
going to be in
I'm going to make you the
some
presenter.
All right.
small town in Tennessee.
Okay, and we're waiting for you, I think, in some form or fashion, JP.
You should be able to see my screen soon.
Yeah, it says now viewing Jason Parker's screen, but I don't see it yet.
Yeah, I'm still seeing the.
Should pop up in a second.
Here it is.
There it is.
There it is. Okay, we're good.
There he is.
Very cool. Well, in the subject line, often I pick the name of the product for the subject line. It seems to work pretty well, especially if the product name describes a benefit. It kind of grabs your attention like a product name would grab your attention like a book on the shelf somewhere and sell a book, So fast, effective coffee would probably be an easy subject line to come up with
Okay.
because it describes fast, effective copy. The easiest way to come up with a decent email is just by taking the headline, and you have one of those without things we were talking about earlier. Let's see. Best way to get killer, or I would say, here's the best way to get killer copy that closes sales like crazy without spending an arm and a leg. And it may have a call to action underneath, or it may have like an arrow or not. There'd be a link here. And I would just have my SIG, all the best, Jason Parker. And if Arponi as an affiliate, I'd have like a good disclosure. Compensation is made, and products herein are purchased.
You know what amazes me about
That'd be a really basic email.
No, that's awesome. I mean, who would have thought it could have been that simple? Except it wasn't. You had to know a lot of stuff to know what to pick. At our high-speed copywriting seminar, we had Craig Eubank show people how to write emails in 25 minutes, and people were just blown away. You just wrote one in about 90 seconds. And you know what?
I'm sure his are a little longer, but
no, but that would work for a targeted market, So
it would get the click. I mean, and then they would see the exact same message they saw in the email right here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the most basic way I'd say is to write one. Sometimes if we want to do a testimonial email, then I'll actually, if this were copy and pasted, I would be able to copy and paste that in. I would definitely copy and paste that in.
Okay.
That one right there with the specific results.
Yep.
And right here, I'd probably copy those two in, and that would become one. The subject would be like, rave reviews. Also, a trick of mine is I would maybe save an image, and then I would attach that image to the email.
Cool.
So the image, I would not only show them the testimonial, but I'd show them an attachment of the testimonial, and it will actually work as a grabber in an inbox. So because you'll see that little attachment thing on the email when it lands in your box. So that's one way to stand out in an inbox, by attaching something to the email.
That's pretty cool.
So that would be one. I mean, I could type this up if you want to, but that would just be.
No,
Been a
understood.
long time here.
Now, if you just to better illustrate, if you could like kind of scroll down and maybe identify some of the things that would tweak you, like the way you like to do this. We talked about this method, and
Okay.
obviously you showed the very short one, right? Just grab that first benefit in the headline, link, go, get the click, and be done with it, and let the sales page do its job. But as you scroll down, if maybe you see anything that tweaks you, like yeah, this is what I would do, or that what I think it might be illustrative for people too.
Right. So those are two types of emails you can crank out by looking at a sales page. But I will look into the copy and try to find something emotional, usually. And this part right here may become in part of an email. I mean, it would be something like this. I mean, I'll just take this and copy and paste it, and then format it, and that'll become the body of my copy of my ad, the body of my ad.
Yeah.
You know. So
You'd probably
this
you'd
is
probably
showing
have
the
to end up
frustration.
slightly more up note than, and worst of all, sometimes it doesn't even work. But that's definitely going to tap into the pain of a lot of people who hate to write copy. Um,
He'll
yeah,
start where he'll meet them where they are in their mind already.
exactly.
So if they read that, then I have something down here positive right after that, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can grab something else. I mean, one way to do it, to Frankenstein these emails together, is to have this be like a section of the copy. Then I'd have a link,
Mhm.
and then I'd pull, I have the link here, and then after that, I'd pull some more copy and put it down here that I like.
Okay.
I mean, it's really copy and paste because it doesn't really. I'm more of a better copy spotter than a copywriter anyway, so it works well for me. I can spot better copy than I can actually
Well,
write.
Jason, I've always said, why do you think they call it copy writing? Okay.
So, I mean, it's as simple as finding something that you like,
Yeah.
something that really stands out. If I had a straight offer email and I were talking about how good this offer is, then I would take this and put it on there somewhere. Talk about what they get,
hmm
templates, step-by-step guidelines, and if there were like some kind of discount or something, some kind of discount email, like a pre-release discount email, that would work well.
Okay.
Look at Kevin Francis's smiling mug, and there's
There it is.
Jedi.
And I'm not smiling. I need to learn to smile.
You're semi-smiling. Oh, look, and there's Vin and Mike.
Yeah.
So this is great, Jay. I mean, I mean, we get it. Oh, who's that guy? So yeah, I mean, it's me. And who's that guy?
And there he is.
So
Our man.
yeah, I mean, it's certainly it's one of those things where you kind of slap your forehead and you just go, God, that is so simple. That is so easy. There's our pal Jim Van Wyck. Jim's here on the call tonight. There you are, Jim, in your red hat. It's one of those things where this is just staring you in the face, and you think, God, that's just so simple. It can't be that easy. But it really is that easy, isn't it? It really is that
It is
simple.
if you know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And yeah, Brian, why don't you take the screen back because we are running on time. But Jason, yeah, obviously people are going to have to
No problem.
play with this, but that was a terrific demonstration. Um, uh, note here from our friend Robert Bertson. Just want to tell you guys this session is an absolute blast. I've been listening on my phone until now. Glad I got home in time to thank you for this great stuff. Hey, man, thanks, Robert. Well,
Norman wants to know if you're really John Lovitz.
no.
We're going to miss you, Norman. We are going to miss you. All right, just kidding.
He's gonna be
Just
around.
kidding.
Okay.
Just kidding.
Let's go to the next.
Well, yeah, I mean, basically, we're at the point where we're welcome to take your Q&A questions. I know we have one hand raised earlier from Cheryl. Let me just double check and see if maybe we covered that already. That was from earlier in the call. Give me just a second and let's see if Cheryl, do you still want to speak with us here? Do you still have a question that you wanted to ask? I'll be happy to open your mic and bring you onto the call. If you do in fact still have a question, you can just type in the chat and let us know. If not, I'll lower your hand. And anybody who wants to ask a question or speak to us, you're welcome to just hit the little hand button on your control panel, and that will raise your hand, and then we'll be able to bring you onto the call. Or you can just type your question into the chat box. We're happy to tackle your affiliate marketing questions, some of the stuff that we've covered with Jason tonight, or even your tangentially related copy questions. Nothing is off limits when it comes to getting you results during these live training
I
calls.
think we wore them all out. There, no one's raising their hand. Did we wear you guys out?
And Cheryl, I'm not going to open your mic without your permission, even though you've raised your hand. I don't want to frighten you by doing that if you didn't mean to. Sometimes it's easy to do that by accident. So until
she's got a couple of questions here that are typed up. Let me read them rather than trying to read Cheryl's mind. She's already told us what she wants to know. So, Jason, if you find an offer you like, but the copy isn't up to your standard, do you tell the marketer, the product creator, you tell them so they can fix it?
I probably wouldn't be. I think I would probably come off as sounding pretty rude if I did that. So I probably wouldn't. But
okay.
Yeah,
that's an honest
answer.
There's got to be a balance,
Yeah, and
there's got to be a balance between a good product and good copy.
It's not your job either. You're an affiliate evaluating a product. If they miss the mark, they miss the mark. It's not your job.
You're
to
basically saying yes or no. You got many more products you're considering than you can ever use. Another question she said. I'll phrase this a little different than she asked it. What do you consider an acceptable earnings per click? Do you have a range, or is that not the way you look at it?
It really matters how much you're paying for the leads that come on your list, really, if you think about it. Because, you could be happy with 30 cents a click if you paid $1 per lead and you have a list of like 20,000 people you paid $1 per lead. I would be ecstatic if I was making 30, even as low as 30 cents a click on that offer from that list.
Okay.
But if you have a good buyer's list, then it's not uncommon to make like $2.50 a click. But if you can afford traffic at a certain price, then you just look at the overall profit. You don't look at the per click value.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
Yes, it does. You're always looking at ROI. Alan Sawyer has a question. Is there a difference in relationship between a product creator and an affiliate, which means you sell differently? Not quite sure what that question means. Does it make any sense to you?
I think it makes more sense to me. I think you sell a lot more differently because people don't really like you when you're an affiliate. I mean, it's not like you're using your personality in any kind of way or anything. As far as what I do, I mean, I don't use personality to sell. I don't try to warm people up like a lot of product creators would.
Mm-hmm.
Your goal as a product seller may be to get people to buy your products over and over and over and over and over. So you're going to have a different way of approaching selling than I am when I'm just trying to cover my acquisition costs of leads and make a profit.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So I think a lot of us are product creators who have sort of moonlighted as affiliates, and we're trying to keep our product creator hat on and keeping the relationship with our list, which may or not be a good thing, but you're just going right for getting people what they want in the sale and not worried about creating.
Right. It's not necessarily the most profitable way to do things, but I think it's the most simple way to do things. And the way
it's the way you want to do it, right?
It's the way I like to do it because it frees up my time and it's in line with my goals, my personal goals, but it's not necessarily what other people should do. They should take maybe some things I've told you, but just mix and match.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't think anyone could mistake you coming on this call trying to say this is how it should be, saying this is how I do it. Take what works and leave the rest, right?
Hey, Tom Banks has raised his hand. He'd like to ask a question. Tom, I'm going to go ahead and unmute your mic. Give me just a second. Let's try and make it work here. And I want to unmute you. Tom, you're with us. Tom?
Can you hear me?
Well, we got a lot of noise, Tom. Got a lot of noise on the line.
Hey, Brian, let me just type my.
There you are. Okay, yeah, go ahead and type it in, and we'll just answer. We're having a little audio difficulty, Tom. Thanks, and we'll answer your question right now. I'm going to go ahead and mute him back up. Sorry, Tom. Sometimes GoToWebinar doesn't play nice. It's a technical limitation, but we're happy to answer your question in the question box if you'll type it in for us. And anyone else who has a question, you're welcome to go ahead and raise your hand, and we'll try and get you on the call live, answer your questions. We love talking to you and hearing from you. And of course, for anybody who's just joined us, we're here with Jason Parker discussing affiliate marketing and affiliate marketing copywriting. And so, is Tom a weatherman? Norm wants to know.
Here's a question from Marvin Johnston. Jason, you've mentioned lifestyle is your primary goal. So how much time do you spend daily, weekly, etc.? Also, are you primarily a sprinter, lots of work followed by lots of vacation, or a marathoner? You can answer as little or as much of that.
Great question, Marvin. Thanks.
I live on a farm. I don't really even like to vacation much or anything. I just kind of chill out on the farm and do things I like to do with my wife and my pets and whatnot. I don't have any children or anything. But what is the rest of the question now?
Oh, how much time do you spend, and do you do like massive periods of work followed by months of not working, or?
It just depends on how much I feel like working. Basically, I'll go on tears where I don't feel like doing certain things, and I'll feel like studying or reading more than I actually feel like doing any work. But there are basic things I have to get done every day. Right? So what I do is I need on my list at least once a day. The second thing I need to do is do something to drive traffic. So I need to run an ad, for example, or do anything to drive traffic. The third thing I need to do is I know I need to produce something. I mean, produce anything because it will accumulate. So, I do launch things every once in a while. So I may work on like a sales page or something, or just produce something because it will just all add up, or a report or something like that, or even an article here and there. So those three things I know I have to do. And there are things I know I have to do, and depending on what's happening, I have to do other things, but those are three things. I can't even think of the fourth or fifth thing I like to do that I have to do. Well, actually, the fourth thing is I study. I mean, I always have to stay on top of things because it keeps me interested in what I'm doing. So I have to study some kind of book or training. And then the fifth thing is I just have to remember to live. I mean, that's the fifth thing I always do every day. Just do something.
Yeah, and I got to say, JP, you are a true student of the craft. You love studying copywriting. You internalize it, you absorb it, and most importantly, you apply it. A lot of people read lots of copywriting training, take lots of copywriting training, but they have trouble putting it into motion. I got to give you kudos and a pat on the back for being one of those who learns it but then uses it. And you got to make room for that. So there's no shame in the game of making room in your life to be able to just kind of learn and absorb and take time to internalize it all. I also wanted to share a nice pat on the back from Rob Pearson. Said, just wanted to tell us that this session is an absolute blast. He's been listening on his phone until now. He's glad he got home in time to thank us for this great stuff. So thanks, Rob. We appreciate you being here. Appreciate you being a member.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, man. All good.
Sean Kinsey, yeah.
Yeah, Sean Kinsey has a question. He says, did Jason mention the autoresponder that he prefers? Do you have a preferred autoresponder service that you use, JP?
I use GetResponse. I mean, I've used Aweber too, but I like Jim Ducharme.
Yeah, Jim's great. Jim Ducharme is a community manager for GetResponse.
Yeah, I like them. So I mean, I like the people at GetResponse. So I mean, that's the primary reason why I use them.
Yeah, and they've really made a lot of improvements. If like me, GetResponse was something you looked at years ago and then haven't looked at recently, a lot's changed with GetResponse in recent past. And it's well worth another peek. I use Aweber and GetResponse both, and they're really interested in working with internet marketers. Unlike a lot of other companies, certain ones in Pennsylvania seem to be getting more and more not disinterested in working with internet marketers, while GetResponse really wants to work with the internet marketing community. They understand the business and want the business. So look them up, GetResponse. And if you're, Sean, I think you're a Warrior Forum member too, if I'm not mistaken. Look up Jim Ducharme on the Warrior Forum and shoot him a private message. He's a great guy. He's a community manager for GetResponse, and his job is to reach out and work with the marketers and people who are interested in learning more about it. They were a great sponsor for us at the last Warrior event, and I know firsthand that they are genuinely there to talk to you about it.
Well, we're getting on almost 2 hours, and why don't we thank Jason and wrap it up and do our little courtesy offer?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Thanks, everybody, for great questions and comments. Appreciate your attention tonight. Everybody sort of hung in there throughout the call. We do want to let the guests and the folks here know that if you are new to Fast Effective Copy, if you're here from an email from my list or from David's list, or perhaps have been, this link has been shared to come and join us as a guest. This is, of course, an example of our monthly live training that we do every single month, the second Wednesday of every month. We do a live training just like this. We often have guest experts like Jason or John Carlton or others, but in any event, we bring you incredible experts and great topics every single month that you can go out and apply in order to make money. We have over a dozen of these sessions already in the archive in the members area. David Deutsch, one of our good friends and absolute, copywriting master, $1 Million Mike Morgan, Susan Bratton. We've got so many great people that have come and joined us for these live trainings. It's just an encyclopedic copywriting resource. And we have all kinds of different topics every month. For example, how to keep the copy interesting. Jason mentioned how much he liked the design when Copy Meets Design session that we did a couple months back. David's Ultimate Secrets of Swiping Effectively was another very popular session. And these are we're just talking about the live monthly trainings. That's just one aspect or element of Fast Effective Copy. The real core engine of our membership and of our site is you get the complete set of David's seminal copywriting templates training, which of course is the basis, the engine that makes Fast Effective Copy go. What copywriting templates is, if you're unfamiliar, is it's a proven and flexible set of essentially swipes for headlines, for bullets, to create stories, offers, guarantees. My favorite is probably negative optimism, which I won't even close that loop. The only way you can figure out what negative optimism means is to get in there and see, because it's such a powerful concept. Jason, you know what negative optimism is all about. There's a 1-hour teleseminar, an audio training for each of the 12 modules. Copywriting Templates is a 12-module training program and set of swipes. Each comes with its own 1-hour audio training with David Garfinkel, where he explains the concepts and teaches you how to use them. Plus, there's a bonus video for each of the modules, which is sort of a quick start, a real quick overview from David personally, where he kind of walks you through the process. So you've got an in-depth training and a real quick start for how to add extra impact for each of these modules and how to use them together as a set. There's a variety of other bonuses inside. I mean, it is so jam-packed with stuff, it may almost feel a little overwhelming, but the great thing is it's a lifetime membership. You pay one time, the cost is $497 to join, and there's no additional ongoing charges. You have a lifetime membership. Everything that's ever been in the site and everything that we ever add to the site in the futures is yours, and it's available to you anytime to just jump in and have open in a browser as you work. You get 6 teleseminars from the Copywriting Mastery Club, which was originally an $1,800 program. This is 6 of those, about a third, I guess, right, David, of the total.
Yeah.
For that, and that's a great bonus. I mean, it's almost, I hate to call it a bonus because it's such a great product in and of itself. You get to listen to some great training with some of the experts who have been in our live training, like Vin Montello and Mike Morgan and Chris Haddad and Harlan Kilstein, and many of the luminary names of copywriting are there. You get our great recipe video series, which David and I had a blast creating these short 7 to 15 minute videos. We call them recipe videos, which take you through the process of using these templates in Fast Effective Copy to create copy in situations that we all find ourselves in every day, for blog posts, to write press releases, of course, how to write sales letters and emails and things, but also how to craft sales videos and sales funnels. And it's sort of like the difference between saying, here's how you make food, or here's how you make chocolate brownies. It's a very application specific quick recipe for combining the templates to get the job done very, very quickly. And it's one of my favorite parts of the site, and I think a lot of our members as well like it. So essentially, the way you find out more about it is very simple. You go to fasteffectivecopy.com, and you have our welcome invitation to join us inside. Use all the tools, ask the questions that you want, and join us every month. Obviously, members of Fast Effective Copy are the only people who get the replays of the training like this. So the video replay, those of you joining us tonight, fortunately for you, you were able to experience this. The other folks who registered but didn't show up will not be able to get access to this unless they're a member of Fast Effective Copy, but you will get the MP4 video replay, the MP3 audio replay, and the slide deck from tonight as well, and we'll be including as well those 11 steps that Jason laid out earlier. That was just pure gold earlier today. Anything you want to add, David?
Oh, just that in terms of anything we've done, and we've done some pretty awesome stuff, this is one that I would want to watch again, because Jason was hoping you'd get one thing out of this. I think there's 101 things you can get out of this. It'd almost be worth watching the video, pausing, making a note, maybe some ideas will come to mind, and then repeating, rinsing and repeating. And I know a lot of people watching are members. I would encourage every one of you to go back in Friday or Monday, whenever we have it up, and just review it. Jason, I can't thank you enough. But I will keep trying. You just did a wonderful job.
Yeah, we had to drag you in here kicking and screaming.
Yeah,
you tried to wiggle your way out of it a couple of times, and like I said, oh, you know what? Screw you and your I'm not worthy baloney. You're coming, you're doing it, and that's that. And this is why I knew you were going to bring the goods. And
hey, I didn't think I could follow up Sean McCool.
Sean's
you guys are very different. I mean, Sean McCool was last month for the folks. He had a great session on hooks, and it was very impressive. But what you had to offer is such practical business wisdom distilled to the ground level. And I'll tell you what, my mind is reeling because I can think of ways people who are not doing any kind of affiliate business or even internet business can use some of your ideas. It's just so good, so practical. And the fact that you don't like to work 14-hour days made you come up with some real genius ideas that are easy and quick to use to make money. So thank you for sharing them. Thank you for being so open.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, I've just had a blast being here and talking amongst everybody, and I love this program. This is the best program I've ever invested in. I mean, I think I was probably one of the very first people to invest in this, wasn't I, Brian? Because it's been over a year.
Yeah, you were. You were one of the very first buyers of the offer when we first put it up, and you've always been a great supporter of the program. And of course, you're a testimonial on the sales page. And David O'Neill also offers that this is the quote sickest offer that can make you healthy, wealthy, and wise. And you can always count on old David O'Neill to bring some little wordplay here somewhere during the course of our training. It wouldn't be
David, we were waiting for you. But it's true. It
wouldn't be a monthly training if we didn't have at least one little quip from David O'Neill.
O'Neillism.
Yes, that's right. Tom Banks asks, one quick question, guys. Will there be a recording of this webinar available? There is a recording of every one of our training sessions in the members area, Tom. We don't make the replays available to the public, obviously, because that's part of the value of your membership. But we do allow people to come join us live just to share some of the good juju with the world. But the only way to get the replays and the full experience is to be a member. So if you have
there's the link to become a member.
Yeah, it's fasteffectivecopy.com. That's it. Jason,
we'd love to have you as a member.
Rob Parrotson says, Jason, they're not blowing smoke. You rocked. He did it.
Awesome. I'm glad I helped people on here. I just, it feels good to talk to people who are on, are serious students like I am. So it's not, when I've been on webinars before, it's a lot of people who aren't very serious students, but I love talking to people who are at like our level. It's awesome.
One other thing Robert said, which I would like to share with everyone here, is he said, talking to you, Jason, your instruction on keeping things easy for the prospects really opened my eyes.
Awesome.
Yeah. He also says, Tom, you got to go back to hear the Carlton sex session, which we did do a very weird and very awesome session with John Carlton a couple of months back on how you've been tricked over the years into buying stuff through subliminal sexual triggers. And it was one of the most interesting takes I've ever been part of or been witness to. It was a mammoth session and really a great one. And so thanks for mentioning that, Rob. One of my favorites in the site
Yeah,
for sure.
Carlton's a good friend of mine, and I've worked with him for about 5 years. We've presented together. We've spoken to each other's seminars. 90% of the stuff he talked about in that call I'd never heard before. And he is definitely a storyteller. So if you hang around him, you'll hear a lot of things.
Yeah, and believe me, you don't want to miss Carlton and Garfinkel. It's almost as good as Simon and Garfunkel to have Carlton and Garfinkel. It's meant to go together.
Okay.
And with that horrible joke, I think we need to close up the call, gang. Jason, again, really, really great session, man. Can't thank you enough. I want to respect everyone's time. We're running up on 2 hours here, and I'm sure people are unable to tear themselves away because it's such a fun time. But we really need to let everybody go and get back to their life and start doing some affiliate marketing and copywriting. Thanks so much, man. This was just a really fun call. I knew.
Yeah, thank you guys.
I knew it would be.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
Sean thanks us for the call, and we thank you, Sean, for being here. And so, gang, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up and call this one a wrap. Thank you for being part of tonight's training, and we will have this replay up for you probably by tomorrow. We're going to try and get it up for you tomorrow. If not, certainly by the weekend. Look for it in the members area, and we will see you next month for another awesome training. We won't reveal who it is, but you will not want to miss next month, that's for sure.